Dear friends, so nice to see you again. My name is First Pan. I'm a web and mobile developer based in New York City, and hope you are doing well. And today we are continuing our matchmaking React Native app with map integration. This is going to be video 5.3, and this is a continuation of our journey to explore how much code sharing we can achieve across React and React Native platforms. So today we start with our agenda. So in here you can see we can use this simulator with our map deploy there, and here are the agendas. So video 5.3, the agenda is to use Redux to render messages. And task 1, first we pull messages from backend, and then uh, we will also render real markers of these messages and for these messages, and then we will meet quite certain criteria so that we are going to render messages and markers that within a short distance within the neighborhood. So this looks very similar to our previous agenda 4.3 for React app, which means again we are going to have a lot of shared code from our React app at the same stage. So let's just start from our simulator. So this is just the image. So this is a true simulator. And we have the remote debug here. So at the last time, we were able to track the center of the map. When the center of the map moves, it console logs Redux current location change and then manage it as a global state. So if we do further, more console log is consoled here. So we know at this point we are going to do the same thing we have done for React. We are going to render messages from a backend that I deploy on Heroku.com, and will pull API JSON data, which represent these messages along with their geolocations. So let's do that by sharing codes from our React app. So we know in our React app, we start with our utils help class API manager. So we're pretty much doing the same thing, just copy paste. So in React, we already have utils. So we're going to copy utils and paste to ReactNative project. But at the same time, we need to npm install the dependencies first. That's very important. So within the HappyDating _rn folder, we are going to npm install Bluebird and super agent. Okay, while we are installing these dependencies, we can go back to the codes. So in our React Native project, we already have utils, which is very good. And now we need to start with our Redux constants. So again, copy paste from React projects, constants index. Just copy paste exactly what it is here. Okay, we're done with constants. Actions. Copy paste. Actions. Share code. So starting from here, for fetch messages actions, we do the same thing. Fetch messages. And then reducers, we need to add a new case that is also from React app. So we probably need this as well. And then we need this case. At this point, we temporarily comment out this line. I'll explain later. So at this point, we have our Redux ready. You see, because of sharing code, we do it in like 30 seconds. So now we go back to messages component under container. So in here, again, same thing. Messages, we use this. But slightly different. In here, we use now. Okay, at the same time, when we do the action index, it's no. Yeah. Okay, so we expect to see the reducer to console log messages received. So we can go back to our simulator, and we can see it from our Metro bundler. Yeah. If we refresh, fetch messages now. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to hook up messages component with Redux. So we go to messages, doing the same thing, and again everything down here. The nice thing about Redux is 100% shareability. Okay, so now again, it probably requires us to do the, because of a lot of new things, we probably need to terminate this and launch another one. ReactNative start. Okay, it's making progress, almost there. So it's compiling. Okay, let's do this. I know what happens. Let's close it for now. Close this. Okay, so let's check one thing. That's because remember in actions index, so we need to go here to fetch messages. Okay, so it looks like backend works. So we just HappyDating. Metro bundler. Oh, the Metro bundler. I need a Metro bundler here. ReactNative start. It's compiling. Stop remote. API manager. So we're missing one piece in actions. See? Import API manager. Now it should work. You see, if we start remote debugging, let's close this one first. Okay, debug, inspect, console. You see, it console logs two sets of messages. Number one is action fetch messages, which comes from actions, which is this. And the second set of console log is messages received, which is from the reducer. Which means our reducer is actually fetching the messages, which is a good sign. Then we can continue with the task of eventually render these messages under this render block. So basically what we're going to do is to use flat list to render it. So under here we will have flat list. So under flat list we will have data equals to render item equals to as well as key extractor equals to. Okay, so data in here, we start with const list equals to this pops messages list. Okay, in the flat list, we're going to list dot map item index. Item. Okay. So basically, we're going to have this as, probably change this to parentheses. And render item. Item index, probably just item. So we're going to import text. We already have text imported, so that should be fine. Text, text. We're going to have item, user, item, message, body. And the key extractor here will be item, index, index to string. Okay, this is pretty much for the code. Let's see if it compiles. Well, it does compile, but it doesn't render. Let's see what happens here. Okay, we have remote. Okay, R. Okay, we need to make sure it is actually. So we're going to console log here first to see what's happening. Say message list. JSON. JSON dot stringify list. Refresh here. Oh, okay, something with backend. Let's close this. Okay. Let's double check if the backend still works. Backend is working. So we just open HappyDating and refresh. Close it. HappyDating. This time we stop remote. So now, and then we start debug. Messages received. Message list is a blank, and let's find out why message list is a blank. So this props messages updated. Oh, I have a bug here. So let's see what happened now. You see, it works. So basically, the messages from the backend, which is this, is rendered in here. In the reducer, we need to update the list action messages for it to work. Okay, so next step. At this point, we need to, there's one thing you may notice, although the message list here lists the 4 messages that are true messages from the backend, but the markers here are still the dummy markers, which don't represent these messages. So we need to change that so that the markers need to be replaced by the true markers from these messages, because these messages at the back end, they all have geo information. So we need to translate them into the markers geo coordinates to be rendered here. So this is what we are going to do. So actually now we are coming to task number 2, render messages from backend with real markers. So actually we can copy paste a lot of things from our React project. You see everything here. So this is in map navigation component. Everything here is the same, almost the same. I take that back. So just copy paste to map navigation. So in map navigation, we're going to comment out these markers in the state of map navigation. We are going to get messages marker information from props. So in here, we are just doing this. Okay, so this, everything is the same, everything is the same. It's just slight changes so that it works for the mobile app. Longitude, position is the same. Label, we probably don't have label. Then coordinate, so we don't have label, coordinates, we call it. And this should be the same. Okay, so let's render. You see? So now you see the magic of code sharing. As long as you reuse most of the codes, you avoid like the chance of typos, bugs. As long as you change the things that you need to, now you render the correct markers per the messages geo information that's listed here. So in just 1 minute, we finished step or task number 2, Last but not least, I would say the more important thing is that when you move the map center, or that's the equivalent, the user's location is changed, it doesn't have any impact on either the bottom part, the list of the messages, or within the map, the markers. We need to reconsider this for meeting the purposes of this matchmaking app with map integration. We plan to help users to meet their dating interests who are already within a certain geographic range. Let's say if a potential dating interest is within your walking distance, he or she is the one to be listed in this message list and also listed as one of the markers in the map. So basically, we just do exactly what we have done for our React app. We just go to messages and pretty much doing the same thing in here. So in here, let's say, number one thing, we need to change this to params. Number two, within the message reducer, that's exactly what we did in the React app, params. Actions, params. And in the message reducer, see, we need this. So in message reducer, we need this. List. No. Okay. We save this. And then in the messages component, we already have this here before, but this will be slightly different. We're going to have an object, and we're going to have latitude, this props message location, latitude, and then we're going to have longitude as well. LNG, and this is longitude. Okay, and this will be current location. This will be current location. And also in here, we will have a same thing, but with some changes. Yeah. So we will have this to be placed within here. Const latitude. Okay, we're gonna save, and we're gonna see. stop here for now. Make sure the backend works. Okay, so backend works. We're going to stop remote for now. Okay, so then we're going to debug mode. Okay, so let's go back to our code. Latitude, longitude, latitude, longitude. So this all looks correct. You see here? We're missing this. If I need to do this. Okay, now it works. Debug remotely. You see, we have 4 markers. That's the corresponding markers for these 4 messages. So we try to move away from the map center and to see what happens. You see, the 4th marker currently is already out of range. Then we do more. The 3rd message is now out of range now. So we have only 2 remaining in here. If we move more, only the 1st marker that still remains both in this map and let the message to stay. And we'll go farther away, all of them are gone. But if we move back, see, gradually, all 4 of them, again, within the geographical range in here, within the neighborhood of this user who's at the center of this map. They're not just he or her potential dating interest, but also they're within a certain distance for the dating activity to start to happen. So basically, let's go back to our agenda. We have completed all these 3 pieces of tasks. And now we can render messages from backend with real markers that are nearby and nearby only. And this is how we do our agenda for video 5.3 ReactNative app for this matchmaking app, HappyDating, with map integration. And last but not least, we're going to move to in the next video, we're going to actually submit messages to the backend and render right away. And that's going to be very exciting. Again, a lot of code sharing between React and the React Native platforms. And stay tuned. And I hope to see you soon. Hope you enjoyed today. And I'll see you soon. Bye.